Marketing and selling is essential in your online business. And when you have the right strategies and mindset, you not only can make a lot of money, but you can change a lot of lives. Welcome to the Online Marketing Podcast, where we help course creators, membership owners, and coaches market and sell their offers.
We're your hosts, Paul and Melissa Pruitt. Let's dive in and get started.
Don't throttle your success.
Don't throttle? What do you mean don't throttle my success?
Yeah, this is all about not throttling your success, not putting the foot on the brake. We got to move forward.
That is a hard thing to do. It's easy to say. I have to say it's very easy to say. And I think today we're going to do some real talk. I'm going to probably pull the curtain back a little bit. We came into this and it's like, oh, what kind of stories can we share about this? And I think it's good for everybody to really understand, because you see a lot of front of house stuff all the time where it looks like, oh, everybody's just doing things so easily and they just have everything they touch is just so successful and it just comes so fast and so easy. And a lot of people don't see like the back of house or like the below the surface where like the duck or the swan is like paddling like crazy. They don't see those elements.
Yeah. In this world of online entrepreneurship, there's a lot of fear of failure. That's really what it boils down to. And we tend to put the foot on the brake or the clutch, even when things are really going right, because we're afraid of that.
Yeah, and it's really interesting because when you're afraid of failure, I think people don't say that directly. I think they're like, oh, I need to get this right first. I need to get it perfect. Oh, I'm a perfectionist.
Yes.
And I think it manifests a lot of different ways. And, and it reminds me, because sometimes I do see you like in a very intense mode or moment. And I constantly always say to you, and not everybody has a counterbalance that Melissa and I have, but I'll say, like, who are you racing?
Yeah, 100%. And I 100% own that, because, again, when you love what you do, you really want to put out something that you're really proud of. And that perfectionism, in some ways, it's a great driver because it allows you to, again, always be pushing yourself and trying new things and, striving to achieve things. But it could be one of your worst enemies. And then you do end up in that situation where I find myself personally, you find yourself spinning a little bit and racing. And you do have to remind me that sometimes, hey, there's no race here. You just kind of just keep going. And
I tell you, and perfection in a way is as if like we're our own buyer of our thing, because that would be like an artist creating a piece of work and they're trying to make it perfect for themselves. Doesn't necessarily mean how the consuming market is going to perceive it. Yeah. We're going to be the highest bidder of our own thing. And one of the things that you have to think about when we have fear of failure, then really what we're doing, we're kind of being selfish because we are not allowing the market to actually experience like the transformation, like the goodness, the impact that we can make in our potential clients' lives. And by us staying in that perfectionism mode, like we're really like in neutral, not even like putting the foot on the gas type thing. The fear of failure is like being in neutral. Like you don't even put it in the gear. Right. I remember back in the real estate days, I'd have agents that would come in, they would be sharp dressed, everything to the T, top to bottom. They talk the talk and everything. Their desks were like pristine. And they had like zero production. Yeah. And I had others that like they came in, they looked like they were a hot mess. Their desks were a wreck all the time, but man, they were just out meeting people. They just didn't think about it. They didn't overthink. They just went out and they took action all the time. And I think a lot of us are proverbially like we're the ones that are re-straightening our desks over and over again, disguising that as work instead of doing that. Now, this ends up, when we look at fear of failure, really what we're doing is we're self-sabotaging. We're being the judge and executioner of our own demise in a way without allowing the public to even be able to deny us. But that fear of rejection, I think it really comes down to we're taking it emotionally. Yeah. We're emotionally attached to that result.
Absolutely. And this is where, you self-sabotage, you play it safe. And where we really want to encourage you is to step out of that comfort zone, because that's where all the growth happens. That's where all the magic happens, is to try something new, to step out of your comfort zone, to not second guess yourself. You might make a mistake. You probably will. We all have. We've all made mistakes, and that's how we learn and that's how we grow. But if you stay in that safe zone, if you don't, take that next step forward, you're never going to grow. You're never going to, see if that could have worked. So it's taking that leap of faith and, trying different things and leaning in.
Yeah. It's that imperfect action will always trump perfect inaction. And I think about like one example. Melissa follows this couple on YouTube, Kara and Nate, I think it is. And they're really great as far as storytelling, traveling the world, different experiences. Really been locked in with our travel. Like we've been following them a little bit, which a lot of people in the world do. But I said to Melissa one time while we were actually traveling and they kind of popped up on the screen, I'm like, you know what? Like their stuff is so tight right now. It's so professional, clean. They know how to storytell. They know how to do like camera angles and everything. Like it's like they've been like professionally trained on all this. So I was like, why don't we go back in their channel and see if they still, now some people get rid of this stuff, but thankfully they didn't. And we went back to several years ago when they started this journey. And like, if you actually compared it to like what they're doing today, like in a way, like you would never follow them. You know, if you looked at the comparison, like what their version of perfect is now, or like what they're doing now compared to where they started. But the interesting thing, the reason why they are that good now, these many years later, is because they just started. Yes. They weren't perfect. They didn't know how to do the editing. They didn't have the microphones right. The coloring was bad. The cuts were bad. The story, was horrible. But it allowed them to take action. And I think a lot of us we sabotage ourselves. We throttle our own success because, again, we don't lean in. We don't go all out. We self-sabotage. We're second-guessing ourselves constantly. Is this perfect? Is this perfect? Is this right? And we just need to put it in the market so that the market can respond.
Absolutely.
You know, and they probably had like 5 people look at their imperfect, video years ago. Now there's probably been way more people now, but you get better with every iteration that you do.
Yeah, I'm glad you said that, because again, when you put yourself in the market, you're actually putting your foot on the gas. You're moving forward, and that's the only way that you're going to see if actually the market does respond to that. Sure. Like if you stay in that neutral zone, you're not going to have any data, any information to see if is this really working? Is this making sense? Does my audience like this? Do they resonate with this? But when you put your foot on the gas, you get it out there in the market, and then you can actually see and know your numbers. You can actually see how the audience is responding, and then from there, that allows you to make changes, adjustments, improvements. Maybe you didn't nail it in this area, but maybe that means you just need an extra training over here, or maybe you forgot to mention this, in your launch. And so you want to make sure the next time that you do that, you mention that aspect of it. But that's the only way that you're going to learn, is actually by putting yourself out there, putting the foot on the gas, and then your audience is going to tell you, and you're just going to get better and better with it the more that you do it. Oh my goodness. And as you were talking about Kara and Nate and their first videos, I was thinking about some of our first videos.
Oh my gosh.
and it's like, oh my goodness, just look how far we've come. And I know, down the line, we'll look back at this video and be like, oh my gosh, look at that.
We knew nothing then. We thought we were smart. We knew nothing then.
I know.
And I think that's just part of the journey as an artist, as an entrepreneur, as somebody that's just growing in general, is that where you are is the perfect space of where you need to be right this second. Embrace it, lean in, make those decisions, take that foot off the brake, put it on the gas, just do it. Like get out of the emotional state that is restricting you from just making that step forward, that progress. And you're talking about, again, that whole feedback loop. By you doing this and by you launching, by you putting something out into the world. Our multi-6-figure launches that we have these days is because back in 2015 we launched to 2 people, and like that, like to think, like we've had some ugly cry launch moments. Yes. We've had little tiffs and other things that blew up in our face. We've had technology issues and Facebook accounts being frozen and pages and Zoom, like live video call, like losing the internet and, like going blank. And
all kinds of crazy
sales links. We forgot to include the proper link to the sales pages, like to get credit and stuff like we've had just about everything happen.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the thing is it's not about being perfect. It's about getting back up and keep going, making the next step, having that feedback loop, because every iteration that you do, like look at the latest and greatest like iPhones or whatever your technology is. And it's like you needed the version 1 that didn't even have a camera, barely got onto the internet, basically did text messaging visually. And like we needed that version 1 in order to have the version that we have today. And we're not going to wake up and just be that advanced version right out the gate. Like the first webinar you do, the first launch you do, it's not going to be your best. It's not going to be your best. Yeah. And be okay with that.
Yeah.
Like that's so important. Now, Melissa, we've been jamming on today all things about, the perfectionism and everything. And I know when it comes to, for us, like we love challenge launches, right? And one thing that we've done is we've slowly, incrementally have improved our launches over and over again. And that's part of what we're talking about today is even our own journey and people that we've helped out have increased over and over time their launches and really like what are the things you should be putting the foot on the gas with? What are the things that aren't important, that are important? And we did create a challenge. That's all about challenges. And one of the days in our challenges, we actually jam on these topics even more specifically, the things they should and shouldn't do. Can you tell them a little bit more about that challenge?
Yeah. So if you want to join us, come to our Challenge Launch Challenge, and you want to go to challengelaunchchallenge.com. And that's exactly what it is. It's a challenge, all on challenges, from everything from the beginning stages with, building your challenge out and planning it out to delivering it. And then this piece, which is really all about like when the challenge has happened, how you evaluate, how you figure out how to scale things, how to make things even better, and what pieces to pay attention to. So go to challengelaunchchallenge.com, get signed up, and that'll get you started with setting up a really awesome challenge for your audience.
Yeah, I love what we talked about today. It's all about not throttling our own success, making sure that we wipe away that fear of failure, get away from the perfectionism, step on that gas, get our foot off the clutch, get our foot off the brake, whatever we're doing. If we're in neutral, we need to put it in gear and take that step. We need to lean in, make new decisions, stop second guessing ourselves, stop self-sabotaging. That is the thing. We need to stop playing it safe. We need to push through and get that feedback loop. We need to find out, what exactly do we put out into the world? What's the public say? How do they react? What are they saying? That way we know what to adjust. We know what to pivot. We know what to change. We know what to tweak, so that at the end of the day, when we look at those results, we can continuously improve over and over again.
This was another excellent episode. If you loved today, make sure you subscribe to the Online Marketing Podcast, where we talk all things about marketing and selling your offers. And if you loved today's episode too, make sure you share it with a friend. Let them know this is what we do. We would love for them to join us and listen in on all things with marketing and sales.
Yeah, so we're so thankful you were here today. And again, between now and the next time that we talk, don't forget, when it comes to marketing, you're just one step away from becoming an adaptive marketer.
If you would like to work with us and our team to help you snap up more sales and incredible clients with a stellar marketing strategy that works, go to adaptivemembership.com and sign up for our wait list. We have a limited number of spots in our exclusive program to set you up for success and take action. We're waiting for you at adaptivemembership.com.